Yeah, guys, we are just starting in 4 to 5 minutes. Let's everyone come in. And if someone has any doubts or have any queries, you can write in the comment section. And if someone has same doubts as earlier student asked, you can like that doubt, and it will come up on the top. So we will get that to question uh, priorly. Okay, and we are just starting in 4 to 5 minutes. Sir has arrived, and everything is in order. The right side there is a chat option. You can write your doubts or anything you want to ask, and our team we will filter out that, and we will ask them in the later section.
Just a second, guys. Let me put my laptop on charge. Okay, just give me 1 2.
Okay, okay, sure.
Yeah, sorry, really sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, we can continue.
Completely fine, sir. We are
Yeah,
just starting in 2 minutes.
okay.
So yes, we are starting our session. Good evening, one and all present here, respected our convener, all dear participants, and our chief guest of the day, Naveen Chandra sir. I, Shiva Pamar, the president of the NISHTHA, the Civil Service Society of Hansraj College, welcomes each and every participant in our event called Aram. Aram, which means beginning, and which can be attributed to the beginning of our newly batches journey of the college, or the beginning of the step of someone to the path of success. NISHTHA, a society which was founded in 2017, is a unique and innovative initiative of Hansraj College. It aims at creating an ecosystem of passionate civil service aspirants to converge and converse. Our primary objective is to create an environment of growth and learning for the student community, which could later give them upper hand over other aspirants. Nishta Society is one of the most prestigious society not of Hansraj College but in whole Delhi University circuit. And our most recent milestone was that our two former members of the society were selected in the recent Rajasthan State PCS. So it was indeed a very big achievement for us. Yesterday was a very historic day for India as there was 26th of November, and on that day, Constituent Assembly of our nation adopted the Constitution of India. Also, 26th November is celebrated as the Milk Day of India in order to honor the great Dr. Varghese Kurian, who was known as the milkman of India due to his immense contribution in the White Revolution. I mainly highlighted this because just yesterday, our Honorable Speaker of the Day, Mr. Naveen Chandra sir, took charge as the Milk Commissioner of West Bengal. First of all, very congratulations, sir, for your recent milestone.
Thank you.
Okay, so I want to introduce you to the our speaker. Naveen sir journey is truly very inspirational. He enrolled himself in chemical engineering in reputed IIT Roorkee and graduated in 2015 from the institution. IS journey of Naveen sir replicate how discipline is that magical key to the doorway of your dreams. Naveen sir successfully passed in UPSC exam in 2016 and got into the Indian Railway Personal Service in 2017, later entering into the Indian Administrative Service. As beginner faces many problems in the beginning, and it becomes very exasperating for them to how when they don't get the correct guidance. So keeping this thing in mind, of our freshers, we have entered into this event and we have our speaker, Naveen sir. In order to escape the copyright issue, I would not say five problems, one solution of famous L'Oreal tagline. I would say thousands problem and one solution for our beginners, that is Naveen sir. He will guide us on how to prepare for UPSC as a beginner. Sir, please enlighten us on the topic. Over to you, sir.
So I'm audible, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So first of all, I'll begin with thanking Nishtha, the Society of Ansar's College, and Shiva, who contacted me personally and was persistent enough to get me, because nowadays the schedule is too hectic. But he was very sincere, so I had to relent and give him this time. So I'll thank you guys once again. Now the topic that we are given today to discuss is UPSC preparation for beginners. See, first of all, I like to tell you how we are going to go about it. I'll not keep it very monotonous and very one-sided, and I'll speak for 15 minutes maximum, and then I'll open it and I'll take the rest of the session through questions only, because that's what actually matters. Because me giving one-sided gyan will not help you that much. Okay. But still, I like to tell a few things which I feel are extremely important for any beginner at whatever stage, either in college or after college or whatever. If you are going to begin the preparation, these things will be very, very important for all of you. So a couple of things I'll tell. See, first of all, UPSC Civil Services exam, or for that matter any exam, even when you're starting out, when you're just starting preparation, the first thing that you need to do is you need to get to know the exam first. Okay, you need to do your own research. And when I talk about research, I mean that you need to know what is the exam, what is the syllabus, what is the pattern, go through previous year's question paper, go through the requirements of the exam in the sense what it asks from you. Okay. Also, remember that the goal of you, as in your goal here is not just clear the exam, your goal is to go and serve, as in you are trying to enter a service. So when you do this research, also research about the services. As in, I know a lot of people who very later try to find what IAS actually does, what IPS actually does, what their actual roles and responsibilities are, job profile is. I would suggest that you do it at the beginning only, because it will give you more clarity on if you actually want to do it or not in the first place. And if you want to do it, it will give you even more confidence, because then you'll be like, "Haan, ye mere liye hai, this is what something I actually want to do," and you'll be able to give it your best. First of all, knowing the exam. Once you've done your research, this research should not take also let me tell you this very very emphatically, that this research should not take more than 1 week, because I know a lot of people, especially beginners, they end up in this loop of researching only. They research for months. They watch n number of YouTube videos. They read so many articles. They watch so many topper strategies and whatnot, and then they end up confused. Ki this topper is saying this book. This topper is suggesting that book. This is that. This is that, and everyone ends confused. So I would suggest that don't do that. That is also not something which is needed. Most of the people who get selected, if you look at it, around 60 to 70% of the things that they do are same. And then books, घुमा फिरा के वही थोड़े बहुत books हैं. If you look at it, everyone reads NCRTs, everyone reads Lakshmikant Kashyap for polity, everyone reads Bipin Chandra or Spectrum for history. So most of these things are anyways the same. They're not going to change. So you getting confused because some topper is saying something, some topper is saying something else, makes no sense, because most of them anyways did the same thing. At times you should remember that all of them are human beings and at times people want to sound different, they tell different things, people want to, because interviews and reality is completely different. So don't just follow them blindly. Also use your own brain. Remember, your aim is to get selected, not to do PhD on how to clear the exam. All right, once you've done this research within like 5 to 7 days, then you move on to getting the right material for yourself, which means getting to know which books to read, which books not to read. And at the same time, you should also remember that when you're deciding this book list, again I will tell you, don't get into the fix, or don't get into this misguided thing of looking at too many blogs. Like if you are, for example, if you are trying to follow my book list and then you say कि यार ठीक है सर की book list है, but let me just also look at someone else's, because he, maybe for some reason, maybe because he had a higher rank, maybe because he is from your own optional, maybe because you know him personally, whatever reason, don't do it, because it will end up harming you only. Because like I said, most of the books, they anyways are the same only. 2-3 books का difference पड़ता है, and they don't matter that much, because like I said, most of the books, the core preparation is done by everyone following the same books, same material. Optional is different. I'm talking about GS optional, because obviously everyone, सब लोगों का optional different ही होता है mostly, so that is a different thing. All right. Next step for you is to decide on your optional subject. Remember, optional carries 500 marks. So it is very important that you make the decision at the start of your preparation only, because optional will take a lot of time for you to cover and to finish. So it is important that you decide which optional to take at the beginning. The best way to decide which optional to take is to follow this strategy. First of all, you ask yourself, am I comfortable in my graduation subject or not? If you're comfortable in your graduation subject, and then ask yourself if it is available as an optional subject or not. If it is available and you're comfortable, there is no better choice. Take it, because you will be having a base in that already. You will having a foundation in that. It will be a lot easier for you to prepare that subject as optional. You will save a lot of time, which you can give to GS and other subjects. All right. Now, if you're fine with your graduation subject, but it is not available as optional, then what we will do? All right. Or maybe some other reason you like it and it is not available. So उस प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करने के लिए ये हम चीज कर सकते हैं कि try to shortlist 4 or 5 optional subjects which you like. It can be your aptitude, it can be based on some interest, it can be because you find it appealing, कुछ भी हो सकता है, you like the name, whatever reason, but try to shortlist 4-5 subjects, and then you go through the syllabus of those subjects, then you go through previous year's paper of those subjects and see which subject makes you feel most comfortable and most welcoming, like which is not repulsive at the very beginning. Like for example, I know a lot of people will find maths very repulsive. So I think वो question paper देख के they can tell that this subject is not meant for me. Similarly, there will be a lot more subjects that you will find very boring, very repulsive at the very peak, at very glance at them. Don't choose those subjects as optional, because optional has to be studied very thoroughly. So you would be required to prepare it at the graduation level. So it'll be better that you choose a subject which you are comfortable at and which you like studying, rather than going into those dimensions that this will get me more marks or iska overlap GS के साथ ज़्यादा है. Those things also matter, but they matter much later. the first thing which matters is your interest. If you're not interested, let me be very, very frank, taking the most scoring option also will not help, because you will not be able to study it if you're not interested in it. So it won't matter. All right, now you've known the exam number one, you've done your research, you've finalized your book list, you've finalized your optional subject. Next step is to develop a reading habit. I'm talking about absolute beginners, okay? I'm not talking about someone who is into preparation for 5-6 months. I'm talking about someone who will start preparation. And if someone has not read books before, as in general, like no kind of novel, or no, it does not enjoy reading, so they must develop a reading habit. I mean, what I mean when I say reading habit is, I'm not saying that you should start reading novels or non-fiction or whatever, but you should start reading something, because you'll have to sit and read a lot in this preparation. You'll have to read newspapers, you'll have to read books, and you'll have to read like quite many books, right? And newspaper to roz hi padhna hai. So you should not get stressed out. You should not get, what do you say? You should not feel burdened when you read. So you have to develop a reading habit. Okay, so उसके लिए क्या करना है? To develop a reading habit, first thing is start reading a newspaper. Either the Hindu or Indian Express, pick either one. Start reading the newspaper, and with that, start reading abridged version of famous books. बिल्कुल छोटे छोटे बच्चों के लिए बुक्स आते हैं, फेमस जो बुक्स हैं, क्लासिक जो टेक्स्ट हैं, उनके बच्चों के लिए छोटे छोटे वर्जन आते हैं, लाइक shortened abridged version. Start reading them. Start there, read it for 2 months, and you'll be comfortable, and you can then start full-fledged preparation. And then that's when you should start with your NCERTs and your newspaper. If you already are comfortable reading, then you need not follow this step. You can skip and you can directly start with NCERTs and newspapers. NCERTs and newspapers के साथ आपको start करना है, and this thing, NCERTs, all the NCERTs that are needed to be studied have to be finished in maximum 1 month. Then you will start with the standard books, which will be one GS subject, newspaper, and your optional subject. These 3 things will go side by side. This is what you have to study. Following this pattern, you should be able to finish your preparation in 5 to 6 months at max. And after 5 to 6 months, the only thing which is left for you is to revise and to solve mocks or answer writing practice. This is only left, and revision obviously takes a hell lot lesser time than reading anything for the first time. Okay, so this is in very brief on how to start preparation if you are an absolute beginner. All right, I would now open the forum for questions, and the rest of the session I would prefer that it is done in a question answer mode. Okay.
It indeed was very insightful. So we are now taking questions from the comment section. There are lots of questions. So sir, first question, a student has asked, sir, how important is reading newspaper? If it is important, then what should be the strategy of reading newspaper? Because reading newspaper thoroughly takes several hours from a day.
It is a good question. See, I'll be very honest. It is not absolutely necessary, because if you talk about absolutely necessary, nothing is absolutely necessary. I will give you an example. Polity के लिए people will tell Lakshmikant is very important. It is indispensable. पढ़ना ही है. I never read it. In my entire preparation, I never even read it once. एक पेज में मैंने लक्ष्मीकांत से नहीं पढ़ा. But still, I got very good marks in polity. My optional was political science. Still, I didn't read it. So it's not about something which is absolutely necessary, but something which is important. So newspaper reading is important for many reasons, because if you will not read newspapers now, you will heavily be dependent on coaching monthly magazines and whatnot. ठीक है, उसमें क्या होता है, many times they miss important things, many times they give unnecessary stuff over there, which is not at all important and related to UPSC or syllabus or anything. But because it is there in the booklet, you will always have the pressure to read it. It is always better to read newspaper and to fill the gaps by using those magazines. जो भी आपको लग रहा है कुछ छूट गया है इधर उधर, कुछ एक्स्ट्रा पढ़ना गया है, वो आप वहाँ से पढ़ो. But read the newspaper, and I'll be very frank, you will not require more than 40 minutes of daily newspaper reading. 40 minutes से ज़्यादा नहीं देना है. 40 minutes is the time which it is required, because not more than 3-4 articles are important daily. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir, you are preferring that we should go through the article section of the newspaper.
No, I'm saying that if you look at the newspaper, in the entire newspaper on a daily basis, on average, only 3 to 4 articles are important. either
Okay.
there will be one article in economics one day, in maybe another day one article in international relations, something like that. रोज का on an average not more than 4 or 5 articles are important. उससे ज़्यादा का
Okay.
ज़रूरत नहीं पढ़ने का.
Okay.
So
Okay.
average out करोगे तो 3, 4, 5 articles on a daily basis. One, एक article को पढ़ने में 10 minutes, so 40 minutes, 50 minutes लगेगा रोज maximum.
Sir, the next question is it important to read the NCRTs as there is a wide difference of opinion on the same? If it is important, then from which class NCRT one should start as a beginner?
Like I just said, if you'll talk about necessary, compulsory, these words are very extreme. It's not necessary or compulsory to read NCRTs also, because you can directly start with reference books. But point is, many at times, very basic concepts for very beginners who have no background in the subjects are not covered in the reference books, because most of the reference book will start at a certain level. They will assume that you know this much, while NCRTs will assume you know nothing, and that's where they start. So that's why it is said that NCRTs are important. But if you feel you don't want to read it and you can manage directly from reference books, good enough. But I would still say it hardly takes 10-15 days of your entire 1 year cycle in UPSC to read NCRTs. So it's worth it. You should not take chance. And I'll tell you, there are questions in actual UPSC papers and pre and mains which have come directly from NCRTs, in the sense from word to word question has come. You can find exact same line in the book and they have framed a question on that. This has happened with only NCRTs, no other book. So
Okay. Sir, the next question is a bit psychological. As one student has just asked that, is it important to be extrovert? As many people faces mammoth problems in facing people. So it's do being introvert affect your interviews or something like this?
nahin yaar, it's not important to be extrovert. It's not it will not get you extra marks in the interview. It will not be an advantage as such for you if you are an administrator. It is obviously, if you become, say, if you get into the IAS, most importantly, if as compared to other services, the IAS has more public dealing, as in you have to meet people much more in compared to any other service, right? So in that sense, maybe you will need to talk to strangers. That one thing is there, which might be a slight issue for complete introverts who don't like company, don't like talking to people. Apart from that, as far as interview and all those things go, no one cares what your personal behavior traits or personal thing is, until and unless you are not a sociopath. ऐसा ना हो कि बिल्कुल you are anti society, you don't want to talk to anyone. Other than that, does not matter.
Okay. Sir, at what should be the plan during graduation? As most of the participants have just entered the college, so what should be the plan for graduation for 3 years?
See, actually, I have not long back I have made one video, and it is available on YouTube also. It is exactly on this same thing, where I have talked about a timetable for college students. So I mean, you can watch that video. It is there on YouTube. Just simple YouTube search will show it to you. But in very brief, I'll tell. If you are in first year, you should not bother about UPSC preparation at all. You should bother about your college life. You should bother about your fun, sports, studies. That's what matters in first year. If I'm talking about 3 year courses, because mostly you guys have 3 year courses, right? Just correct me if I'm wrong. So in 3 year courses, first year you should not even care about UPSC preparation. Enjoy your college life. Colleges, and more so when you are actually at a very good college, one of the best colleges. So you have to remember that you have earned this place also. Not everyone gets to study at a college where you are, so you should respect that also. What you have earned till now, you should also respect that, because of something which you might get in future. You should not just take things which you have right now for granted. Okay, don't take your college life for granted. It won't come back, and you will regret it for the rest of your life, wasting your precious college years and pursuing something which is there in the future and has no certainty. Okay, because I've seen a lot of people in my college who started preparing in first year, second year, they never cleared pre also. Because this exam is like that. It is not about intelligence. It is sometimes about plain luck also. You cannot help it. So what will you do then? But don't spoil But if you want to start preparation, I would suggest start in your final year and follow the same pattern which I just said. Because if you study well enough in your final year, also with graduation you can give the exam if you meet the age criteria, and if you study well enough you can clear then also, but next year surely you will clear it. So
Oh,
don't be too greedy that सब कुछ मैं भी कर लूँ. Life does not work like that. Okay.
okay. Sir, one student has asked that what are your opinions on the coaching centers or about taking coachings?
Yeah, see, I didn't take coaching. As in the sense, I did join it, but I hardly went there. Hardly I went there. And whenever I did, I used to sit in the library. But my best friend in the service, Himanshu, he took coaching and he is all praise for it. So again, it is about personal choice. It's if you feel like taking some help and you feel like a coaching will help you, you should go about it. Go for it. Reason is you should not have any regret, and there is nothing wrong in taking help and taking a coaching. But I, again, like I said previously also, coaching is not absolutely necessary to clear the exam. You can study on your own and clear it. People have topped the exam on their own, let alone clearing it. Okay. So everything, anyways, even if you join a coaching, 85 to 90% is self study only. So keep that in mind. Okay.
So basically, sir, what difference coaching creates in a mindset of students? As there are wide perception that coaching is necessary for clearing UPSC, is it kind of some relevancy, or is it just a mindset of the people?
Yes, actually most of it is because of the industry which has been made out of UPSC. That is the problem. That is, I think, the biggest thing which has created this misconception that if you don't join a coaching, you will not be able to clear it. Also, people always have this fear of missing out. Everyone they know who is preparing has joined a coaching, so that means that they should also join it, or they will not get selected. Or maybe people feel that everyone has joined it, so they have an advantage over me. That is not at all true. Your preparation can be better than those who have joined. And I know people personally who have joined 3 3 4 4 coachings in 3 4 years. They switch coaching every year, but nothing
Yes, sir.
happened. So it does not matter. And I know people who cleared the exam in 4 months, so without joining anything. So it depends on you. Like I said, if you think it will help you, go ahead, join it. No shame in it. No, nothing wrong in it. But never think that it is absolutely necessary to join. Otherwise, hoga nahi selection. That is also wrong. You have to talk to yourself. You know your preparation, your level best. Talk to yourself. You will get the answer.
Okay, okay. Sir, one question I found very relevant is that there is so much of reading material available. How to choose the most effective and efficient reading material?
Yes, you are right about it. Many lot of reading material is available, but if you look at all the subjects, if you look at the syllabus actually, and then you go about making your own book list, and you try to research and make your own book list, you will find, like I said, most of the books that most of the people who get selected they read. They're same. Excuse me. Like for polity, either people will read Lakshmikant or they will read Kashyap or D.D. Basu. इन 3 books के अलावा कोई book है नहीं चौथी. People will read these 3 only. Then when it comes to history, people will either read Bipin Chandra or they will read Spectrum. Art and culture के लिए people will either follow NIUS and NCRT or they will follow Nitin Singhania. So it's not that you have too many choices. Problem is again the same thing. This myth has been created so that someone in the coaching industry can benefit out of it. Because you have so many confusion, we have the solutions. Come to us. That is the problem. If like you will, in a day you can make your list. And also most of these books now they have the same thing. Like D.D. Basu and Kashyap, choose blindly which you want to pick. Pick one and just start reading. Don't think that you will miss out on something if you're choosing one book over the other. They have most like 90% they are the same. Because they deal with facts. Na? Facts don't vary book to book. Getting my
Yes,
point? Like
yes,
Indian Constitution की अगर कोई book लिखेगा, so how different can they write than some other book? Indian Constitution the same ही है. So for everyone, how different a book can be, which deals with facts. You have to keep that in mind. So don't worry about choosing books. कोई सा भी एक topic का book list उठाओ and just start reading, and then just stick to it. That's it.
okay. As you mentioned, sir, sticking to one book or one source is very important during the
Yes.
preparation.
Yes.
Sir, a student has asked, he's from Hindi medium, so he's asking about what is the difference between the strategy, or what should be the difference between the strategy of Hindi medium and English medium student beginning from third year of their course.
Just a second, I've got some important. Please, can you repeat the question? I'm really sorry. Yeah.
Yes, sir. A student from Hindi medium has asked that what should be the strategy for Hindi medium students from the graduation? Should it be different from English medium student?
No. So I will tell you. See, I there is no doubt about it that Hindi medium students have a tougher, they face a tougher challenge and they face much of an uphill task to clear the exam. But uska reason here, the main reason is because most of the people who are preparing in English, and most of the study material which is good is available in English. Most of the coachings they teach in English. So that's why people who prepare in English has an advantage. But does not mean that there is any kind of anything else at play. So everything else remain the same. If you have figured out your study material, if you have the books, if you have the right guidance, everything else remains the same for you. Nothing changes. The only thing is that obviously वो स्टडी मटेरियल इकट्ठा करना अच्छे क्वालिटी का, दैट इज द चैलेंज. बट इफ यू हैव डन दैट, then there is no problem.
Okay, sir. Next question is it's a very very direct question. Is that how to develop the habit of writing?
See, again, it is a very important thing also to ask, because I think single-handedly the biggest chunk of marks is there with written exam. But I will tell you, the writing that as we know it, as we understand, creative writing नहीं requirement है UPSC का. They do not want you to write very nice flowy lines, poetic lines, or some very nice grand essays, or some philosophical thing. That is not the requirement. They want you to write simple sentences, and they want you that you are able to convey your messages directly. That's it. Because if that was the reason, then all the English literature topper guys would have been the toppers, right? If they wanted you to write some very nice Shakespearean English. So, but that is not the reason. That is not the requirement. Sorry, requirement is that you are able to write simple sentences which do not confuse the examiner and which put your view across in a very lucid manner, concise manner. That's what the reason is. So for that, I am a very fierce advocate of starting writing practice as early as possible. Many people say that you can start practicing after you have covered enough syllabus because you don't have anything to write. Point is, that is not the point. You are not just when you are practicing answer writing, you are not just practicing to just clear the exam. In the sense, you are also practicing to develop many other skills which are needed. For example, I remember, even if you will have everything in your mind, you have studied everything and you have never written an answer before, you will take half an hour to write one answer. What is the point then? What is the use? आपको सब आता है, you know everything, but you are taking half an hour to write this answer. It's useless. But if you have started preparing, you started answer writing practice early, by the time you will end your syllabus, then you will write an answer. You will be able to write it in 7-8 minutes. Right? That is the need. You have to understand that also. So it's इसलिए start preparing answer writing as early as possible. I'm not saying day 1, day 2, day 3, as early as possible. And, after 1 month, after 1.5 months, but start early and make incremental what do you say progress, and then progress in a small manner. I mean, you just try to see what all things you were getting wrong. If you have improved in your grammar, if you have improved in your sentence formation, you have to see these things. Like I said, simple small sentences is the need. So don't worry if you feel that you cannot write creative essays or something like that. That is not the requirement at all.
Okay, sir. Another question, which is like very peculiar one. Sir, should there be any backup plan for entering into UPSC? Like if someone is doing CA, should he be doing CA first and then UPSC, or first UPSC? And if he fails to, so he can pursue CA. So what are your views on this?
Yeah, see, this is again a very, very, what do you say, a very personal, question, in the sense, because this varies. This depends on the personal situation of the candidate. Like, for example, if your family's financial position is good enough and they are able to support you for 2-3 years, whatever it you will take to prepare, and you will not be a burden on them, in the sense that, because mostly what happens, people have a hope that, once a kid will finish college, he will support the family financially, he will take certain responsibilities. Mostly it is the case. So that ways I would always suggest that, take a job and prepare simultaneously, because it is very difficult for, because see, that's how your family should come first. I mean, I that's what my clear take is, because you should not let them suffer. uh, so it's a very personal decision, but then again, it has subjectivity also, because if your family says that, we will manage, aap padho, because most of the families do this, they will tell you that, you study, we will manage, we will be able to do it. If your family is supportive, go ahead, only prepare, don't take up a job. But when you have to take the decision of a backup and everything na, you have to ask your family. You should not ask anyone else, you should ask your family. See, this is something which I have decided, it has a lot of uncertainty, you never know, if I might take 2 years, I might take 3 years to clear. It is quite possible I'll clear it in first attempt also. So should I go ahead without taking a job, or should I, take a backup, whatever they say, and take them in confidence, and then only do it. Otherwise, it will create a hell lot of mental pressure on you later, which will be much worse than doing this conversation at the beginning itself. Do this conversation with the family and then decide. It's a very personal decision, as it's not fixed. The answer is not fixed for everyone.
Okay. Okay. So the next question is about prelims. Like, how to like prepare for prelims, as people take it very lightly, and most number of disqualifications happen at this stage only. So, how to go about prelims?
How to go about prelims? See, actually, if you will prepare, you will realize that there is no such thing as pre mains separately or in isolation. You have to prepare for the exam. UPSC Civil Service exam, and pre and mains both are parts of the exam. So yeah, and mostly the syllabus is also the same. The only thing is that pattern varies. That is objective. This is subjective. You have to prepare for both of them at the same time. Only thing is that when it comes to pre, always remember that when you study this, for example, I'll tell you, if you're studying constitution and history of constitution, and making of India's constitution, if you study that, there are things which will be important for pre, and there are things which will be important for mains in the same topic. Okay,
Yes.
so you have to recognize that. For example, you study, there are many acts which came in British time, which to which India's constitution traces itself. They were
Yes.
regulating Act 7073, Pitt's India Act, Charter Act, Morley Minto reforms. All these things were there. When you study for pre, and then when you study for from pre's perspective, what is important in Morley Minto reform is to remember this was the reform where communal representation or communal electorate came for the first time.
Yes, sir.
That is what is important. But from main's perspective, and Morley Minto reforms is important for many more things, because when the question will be on mains, they will want you to write a subjective answer. It will require much more points, but all those points are not important for pre. For pre only, this communal award thing is important. Sorry, this separate electorate for Muslims that came in 1991, that is important, nothing else.
Yes.
So this you have to be very consciously aware that when you are studying a topic, there will be points which are important for pre, there will be points which are important for mains, but they are in the same topic only. You have to study the same article, but keep your mind open, look out for these hints. ये ऐसा अजीब सा point है. I think this might be asked in a objective question. Just ask yourself, can an objective question be framed on this? If the answer is yes, it is important for pre. If the answer is no, read it. It might be important for mains or not. That's it. Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir. Another very, very basic question is that should we go on with one subject at a time and finish it completely, or if we should move on to another subject, or we should go about with the subjects, all the subjects parallelly? What are your opinions about this?
See, I would, like I said, the best way to study is to study one GS subject and your optional subject parallelly at the same time. Okay,
Yes.
and because optional subject, it has two papers, and those two papers are also divided into two parts. It is almost as you're studying four subjects. Getting my point? Like two papers and two parts. So you can treat it as four subjects: optional one, optional two, optional three, optional four. But as in only to make a good timetable. 4 this optional parts and 4 GS subjects. They should go parallelly. एक GS के साथ एक optional part हटा दो, एक GS के साथ फिर दूसरा optional part. So this is how you can cover in 4 months the entire syllabus. This is how you should make a timetable.
Okay. Sir, one student from Hindi medium has asked what newspaper they should follow for UPSC preparation.
So, Hindi medium के लिए I remember someone has told me once that दैनिक जागरण का national edition is good, but I would still say you should also try to read the Hindu or Indian Express, because I will tell you, you are anyways going to give compulsory English language paper. वो तो आपको एनीवेज देना है, सीसैट आपको एनीवेज देना है, तो उतनी इंग्लिश तो एनीवेज आपको टैकल करनी ही है. And Hindu and Indian Express are the best sources for current affairs, and they deal with things much more holistically than any other newspaper. So it is better you read them. But if you want to read a Hindi newspaper only, then दैनिक जागरण का national edition, जो national edition है, that you can read.
Okay. Sir, I would like to take one question is this. Does science and maths play any important role in civil services, as someone from humanities feels very depressed about reading science subjects?
Yeah, you should understand that people like me from science and engineering, how we would be feeling when we enter civil services. Everything is humanities only. Depressed तो हमें होना चाहिए. But anyways, science and maths, they don't carry that much weightage at all. Like there is a very small portion of basic numeracy in CSAT, which is like 8 standard maths, which anyone who can do plus minus multiply divide can do it, and has some common sense, they can do it. Then very very basic science, if at all you want to read that too. If you want to read, you can read for your prelims. But again, I would say hardly there will be a question which which will be asked. Hardly kabhi I don't remember in past 3-4 years पूछा है कभी. Science से question नहीं पूछते हैं. Mostly they will ask questions on technology, and technology questions are mostly based on current affairs.
Sir, one student has asked, he's experienced one in UPSC. He is asking about the revision strategy. What should be the strategy for revision for the last 6 months before the exam?
See, revision strategy ये होती है कि revision should be a part of your timetable from day 1. As in, you should be revising something or the other daily. You are studying something fresh daily, you should also be revising something daily, because syllabus is so much, you cannot leave your revision for the last 6 months. Because तब तक तो anyways you will forget everything. What will you revise? You will need to read again for the first time. Revision तो तब बोलोगे ना जब कुछ याद रहेगा. 6 महीने के आखिरी के लिए छोड़ दोगे तो you will not remember anything. That's why it is important to revise as you go. Whatever you read today, try to revise some portion of it tomorrow, some portion of it day after tomorrow. Similarly, what you read tomorrow, try to revise some portion of it is day after tomorrow, some portion day after that. This is how you go on revising. Once your syllabus is complete, the only thing which is left is revising only. So you will have much more time in your hands, then you can revise, like you can relax and revise.
Okay. Sir, what should be the strategy for choosing optional subject for UPSC?
I think I have discussed the strategy in detail. When I started speaking in my monologue, I have discussed the strategy in detail.
Yes.
So
actually, sir, one student has asked that he did graduation from economics, and now he's not feeling that much interested in economics. So
like I said, if you're not comfortable with your graduation subject, then the best way forward for you is to look at all the options which are available and try to pick 4 or 5 based on your interest, based on a subject which appeals to you. It can, maybe there might be some subject which you always wanted to study but you couldn't. Maybe there will be some subject whose syllabus feels interesting. Pick 4-5 subjects, then do thorough research on them. In the sense, see if their study material is easily available, see if quality guidance is available, see if how is the scoring for the past 3-4 years, see if there is some GS overlap, and then take your decision. Sorry.
Okay. Sir, what is the relevance of confidence in someone's confidence in preparation for UPSC, as it generally considered that it's a very typical exam and one of the most typical exam in India. So what is the relevance of confidence in this thing?
Most of the students who have joined us today from Hansraj only?
No, sir.
Uh,
There are many outsiders also.
okay. See, people, I will say confidence is important. That is an obvious yes. It is important for anything. Like, it's not about UPSC. You have to have faith in yourself. Uh, Otherwise, you won't be able to do anything.
Yes.
Okay, because see, anyways, people will not have faith in you. That I can tell you, day one. People are there waiting to pounce on your failures. That is how society is, and not talking about our society. That is how world is. They are pouncing. They are waiting when you fail, and they start mocking you. They start getting you further down. That's what the sole purpose of society is. So that so you having your faith in yourself is the only thing you have, anyways. You only have your faith. You don't have any other's faith, anyways. Don't so अगर खुद भी अपने पे you don't have faith, then I don't think you have anything to move forward at all. With. So have faith in yourself. You can do it. Trust me. I know people who couldn't have even dreamed of doing it. They have done it. So I am telling you, anyone who has faith in themselves and has the patience and that grit, you can do it.
Okay. Okay. Sir, one question again that is I found very interesting, and I personally experienced this. Sir, how to overcome the exposure of left wing and right wing ideologies propagated by the exposure of the environment we got in our college? Because when we enter in our college, we get exposure of like different organization of political parties that we don't found in our schools, but we do found in our colleges. So, how to cope up with that?
See, I have a different take on this. My take is this: why do you want to avoid this exposure? Because if you will avoid it, who is going to make a difference? If
Yes, sir.
everyone is going to avoid this exposure, if everyone is going to avoid being exposed to political ideas, politics, then तो कुछ होगा ही नहीं ना. If the youth itself avoids it, who will take things in their hands? So, and the point is that you will need exposure if you want to make an informed decision. You will need to get into debates if you want to know both stories from both sides. My only request, suggestion, and sincere appeal would be to always listen to what the other person is saying. Don't think that you know everything. No one knows everything, and no one, I will also tell you, knows all the facts. There is always something more, something extra which you don't know. Try to find out that. If someone is saying that they have a different view, try to listen to it, because it happens the other way also. People will not listen to you.
Okay.
Simply,
So,
I mean, at a very rude level, at a very crude level, do it for yourself. Because if you want people to listen to yourself also, you have to listen to them. Otherwise, anyways, a true intelligent person who has some wisdom will always listen to other people's views. It will widen your horizon. It will give you perspective. It will give you the ability to look at things in a way they're meant to be. Okay.
sir, another part of this question is that how to write balanced answers that should not be so that
Shiva, I cannot hear you. I think your connection has some issues. I cannot hear you. Your microphone is connecting, disconnecting very frequently. Don't know what is the issue. Yeah.
yeah. Yes, sir. Sir, one part of this question is this, like how to write balanced answer. It should not be influenced by any ideologies or something like this.
See, it's not just about excuse, it's not about just about answers. About even having decent conversations, decent debates. You should just remember that balance. What is balance? Balance is when you have given equal opportunity the person you are talking to express themselves, and when you are open enough to hear them out and debate on facts, figures, not on passion. In the sense, मुझे सुनना ही नहीं है. So if you have that thing, that outlook towards things, that I don't want to listen, I'm too adamant about I'm too arrogant and I think I know everything, then there is no point of talking about balance. वो balance नहीं हो सकता वहाँ पे. Balance will only happen when you have a mind which is open enough to you know let the other person talk, and open enough to read also. Like, I know a lot, the problem these days is if someone is left wing, he will only read left wing literature. left-wing books. He will only follow left-wing news channels. He will only listen to left-wing media. Only left-wing newspapers he will read. His friends will also be from left-wing only. If someone is right-wing, वो सिर्फ right-wing ही कर रहा है सारी चीजें. जब ये रहेगा, so how will you get exposed to the other ideology, other ideas? How will you get to know what is the true reality and what is the other's point of view, and how will you actually be able to make an informed decisions? You will, shape yourself as biased only. That's why make it a point that you follow people from other ideology, even if you don't like it, even if you hate them, even if you feel that I cannot stand them. Try to listen what they are trying to say. Okay, so they also have a lot of arguments for what they are trying to say. They also have a lot of support. So not all of them are idiots, right? And not all of them on your side are very smart. There are both kind of people on both sides. Remember that. So just remember this. Will be fine.
Okay. Sir, as many of our participants have just entered their college life, so they have very common perception that you have to sacrifice a lot of things to prepare for UPSC. So, sir, is it true that you have to really sacrifice your friendship and like personal relationships and something like this?
A very, very relevant question. I'm sure a lot of people would be wanting to hear the answer to this. See, I was actually having this conversation with an aspirant who I have been helping for quite some time now. Yes, a couple of days back only. Same problem. The problem is this: all of us are humans first. Okay, all of us are humans first, and all of us have some needs, some desires, in the sense that we crave for certain things as human beings. We crave for relationships, we crave for love, care, we crave for partnerships, we crave for these things, and that is a very human tendency. Now, to expect something from yourself that I will discard my human behavior for one exam, it's not just unfair, it is idiotic, because that is not going to happen. What will happen is you will push yourself in depression. I will tell you, as a matter of fact, I will tell you, most of the people who clear this exam were dating when they were preparing. Do a normal survey, you will find. I was dating, all my friends I know, they were dating. Most of the people have married the same people they were dating. So, ये कोई coincidence तो है नहीं. The reason is because if you suppress one aspect of your personality that much, that कि मुझे ना डेट करना है, ना मुझे दोस्त बनाना है, ना मुझे सोशल मीडिया पे जाना है, ना मुझे किसी से बात करनी है, ना मुझे शादियों में जाना है, I don't want to do any of that. I just want to study. You will not be able to study. Trust me. Nothing happens like that. Nothing works like that. Man is not an isolated self. Man is not an island. He is situated self. If at all, at least in India, he is. Our culture is that we are connected with everyone else, and so you cannot just isolate yourself and say कि भाई I can just live like that and मेरा हो जाएगा सब कुछ ऐसे. This I am telling you, societal perspective. From an individual perspective, I will tell you, as an individual, irrespective where you are born in this country or any other, very basic biological truth is that you need partnerships at the age where you are entering. You will crave those things, and to suppress that is pushing yourself into depression and is pushing yourself into a trauma, as in which, because you will feel like, यार what am I doing? ये सिलेक्शन मेरा होगा 2 साल बाद 3 साल बाद कभी होगा, आई डोंट नो होगा कि नहीं. दिस टाइम विल नॉट कम बैक एंड दिस टाइम आई एम मिसिंग आउट ऑन अ लॉट. माय फ्रेंड्स आर एंजॉयिंग, दे आर डूइंग दिस. आपका दिमाग तो पूरा टाइम वही रहेगा, पढ़ोगे कब? So it is better to have everything but balanced. You have a relationship, you have a girlfriend or you have a boyfriend, whatever, but remember that you keep it balanced. You give them time, but also remember that you have to keep the balance between your personal and your professional life. Don't let one affect the other. Don't let one take too much time of the other. That ways, let me be very frank, even your preparation will do much better. Because you'll have people to talk to when you'll feel depressed. You'll have people to tell how you're feeling, how your preparation is. You'll have people, so everything is connected. Don't suppress your personal relationships and personal feelings for this one exam, or for that matter, anything.
Okay. So participant must be feeling very relieved after listening this. So, sir, yeah. So, sir, like we were running on very few last questions. So one question I found is that a student is saying that he feels very demotivated, every second, and lose consistency regularly. So what do he should do about this?
See, I mean, I get it. I get a lot of messages also, people asking me, sir, how to stay motivated. how to stay motivated. The problem is not that they don't have motivation. Problem is that somehow they are losing motivation. My question to all those people who have this problem is simple: how did you get motivation in the first place? You must have seen something. You must have कुछ तो हुआ होगा. Maybe you wanted to do for your parents, maybe you wanted to prove it to someone, maybe just you wanted to do it because it is your passion. Some reason must have been there in the first place which motivated you. Now the only reason you lose your motivation is that you have fulfilled that reason. If you have not fulfilled that reason, there is no point in your motivation going away. Have you made your parents proud already? Have you achieved it for your parents? Have you achieved it for yourself? Have you proved it to someone? अगर आपने ये सब चीज़ें नहीं की हैं तो मोटिवेशन जाने का सवाल ही नहीं होता. मोटिवेशन तब जाएगा ना जब आपने जो जिस चीज़ के लिए आपने स्टार्ट किया था वो आपने अचीव कर लिया. जब आपने वो अचीव ही नहीं किया, देन योर मोटिवेशन इज गोइंग वाई. उसका फिर दूसरा रीज़न सिर्फ एक ही होता है, दैट इज लैक ऑफ पेशेंस. यू वांट एवरीथिंग वेरी क्विकली. यू वांट, मैंने आज स्टार्ट किया, मेरे कल सिलेक्शन हो जाए, परसों आईएएस बन जाऊँ. ऐसा होता नहीं. Nothing happens like that. Let alone in this exam, in life, nothing happens like that. You have to pay your dues. You have to, follow the same path which everyone else has. You have to work hard basically. उसके बिना तो नहीं मिलेगा. So just remember that. Don't think that you are superhuman and things will work out for you in a different way. इतना करोगे, motivation नहीं जाएगा कभी.
Okay, sir. The last question, and everyone requested me personally to ask you this. Like, what are your experience of the interviews in the civil service examination?
See, I have given 2 interviews in 2 attempts, and both the times I had the same board. As in, former police commissioner of Delhi, Mr. B.S. Bassi was the chairman of my interview board. Both the occasion I got similar marks. Once I got 176 and another time I got 179. The same similar marks I got in both the attempts. And my interview experience in both the attempts was actually, quite different, because obviously I've learned a lot from my first experience. एक तो ये चीज़ थी. But if you look at the overall aspect of the interview, there are few things which I found to be extremely, what do you say, true about the interview, which we feel are myths. In the sense, we don't feel as myths, but they have been there out there, and लगता है कि myths हैं, but actually they are true. For one of them is that they can ask you anything. That is absolutely true. They can ask you about anything. So be prepared to be asked anything under the sun. The only thing is, when you are asked about something absolutely absurd, you can say, I'm really sorry. Don't say sorry also. Say, I don't know the answer. But humbly itna bol do. They will give you another question. That is there. But be prepared for anything. What happens, at times they will ask you something very awkward. Awkward in the sense, it can be something very, very unexpected. ये कोई फैक्ट पूछ लिया, एकदम रैंडम फैक्ट कुछ पूछ लिया, है ना, तो उसमें क्या होगा, someone's confidence might just go, oh shit, मेरा तो स्टार्ट इतना गंदा हो गया, क्या पूछ लिया, तो मुझे आता नहीं है. Now what happens, that they do it on purpose. They want to rattle you at the beginning itself, and they want to see how you keep yourself together. एक तो ये चीज़ है. Then mostly they will try to get you in a spot, and mostly it happens in a question which has a ethical dilemma to it. Like, they will give you a question where you will have to make a choice, and in that choice you will get stuck. Either you will be taking a stand which will be controversial, and if you don't take a stand, that will also be controversial. In that sense, what happens is, your idea should be, whatever stand you take, there is nothing right or wrong in these questions, because there are many possible answers, nothing right or wrong, but be prepared with good reasons for why you are saying that. उतना कर लोगे, they don't care about why you said it. Give them good reasons. That's what they want to hear. That is about, I'm talking about ethical kind of questions. Third, fourth thing is that don't just write anything which comes to your mind in your DAF. कि मैं तो क्रिकेट भी खेला है, गली क्रिकेट खेला था तो मेरी क्रिकेट हॉबी हो गई, फुटबॉल मैंने स्कूल में एक बार खेला तो फुटबॉल हॉबी हो गई, खो खो हम लंच में खेलते तो खो खो मेरी हॉबी हो गई, सब कुछ लिख दोगे. What will happen, that you will have to prepare for everything in detail for your interview, because they will ask. Don't just write whatever you feel. I know a lot of people just write for the sake of it. DAF भरा हुआ लगना चाहिए, भरा हुआ DAF तो हो जाएगा, but preparation बहुत ज़्यादा करनी पड़ेगी. Like, I have been playing football like for I don't even remember how many years. In my school I played for school, college I played for college. IAS की टीम के लिए भी I played in Labasna. I've been playing for years. I wrote football as my hobby and they asked 20 questions on football. वो तो अच्छा है. I was very lucky that I have written football and I prepared for it very nicely. I have read many 2-3 books also while preparing for football. उनसा अच्छा था. I prepared for it. But after that experience I thought कि अगर मैंने कुछ और लिख दिया होता, these people would have just पता नहीं क्या होता इंटरव्यू में मेरा. बट फुटबॉल लिखा था तो प्रिपेयर किया था तो मैं इसलिए बच गया. सो just don't write anything which comes to your mind for the sake of it. You will have to prepare. Interview experience, I will tell you, is obviously that real thing is very different than any mock you will give, any experience sharing you will have. अलग pressure होता है that is there, but this preparation gives you so much opportunity to learn so many things that you gain a lot of confidence. कि मुझे आता है बहुत कुछ, मुझे आता है. हो सकता है मुझे सब कुछ ना आता हो, बट आई नो अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. सो यू हैव दैट कॉन्फिडेंस इन यू व्हेन यू गो इन दैट हॉल. यू हैव ऑलरेडी क्लियर्ड मेंस, you have cleared pre. In pre 10 lakh people give, 8 lakh people give, and only 10,000 clear. So you have already beaten a lot of people. Then again in mains you have already beaten a lot of people. So you have that confidence. See, I am better than a lot of people. अब तो बहुत कम लोग ही बचे हैं. So it's not that I am someone who is at the worst position. So that much confidence anyways you will have. So don't worry about it. Interview may just go with confidence, go with a smile. Be ready to be rattled, but don't get rattled. Bounce back का भी chance होता है. Even if you just mess up in your interview, they will give you a olive branch. They will extend an olive branch. They will give you a chance to bounce back in an interview. That is your hint. Just pick that and come back in the interview. It's overall, I would say, probably the best of the 3 parts of the exam is the interview. So
Okay.
I wish all of you give and all of you clear it.
Okay, sir. Here we comes to an end of all the questions. So, sir, it was truly a very insightful session. You are really a very big motivating factor for all of us. So, honorable dignitaries, our dedicated team, respected Naveen sir, and dear participants, I'm Shiva Pamar on behalf of our society and its entire fraternity and our convener. I feel immense pleasure to take this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks to our eminent speaker, Mr. Naveen sir, to spare the time from his busy schedule to grace this occasion with extremely episodic topic. I take this opportunity to specially express my regards and gratitude to our esteemed principal ma'am, Dr. Rama ma'am, for always encouraging us and providing us opportunities to organize such events. I also want to pay thanks to my team for helping in hosting such events. My deep sense of appreciation and thanks to all the participants who chose to live with us and attending the webinar with great enthusiasm and made it a very successful session. Last but not the least, a very big thanks to Naveen sir for taking time for encouraging us, enlightening us, and confidencing us. We really hope that you will keep us motivated. Having bureaucrat like you is a blessing for our administration. With this note, I want to inform the closure of this wonderful session. Participants can fill the feedback form. Thank you, Naveen sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And again, I would like to thank in the end Shiva specifically for being relentless in pursuing, and also Hansraj College for taking this initiative. I feel that it's an honor to be invited to Hansraj, which is one of the most prestigious institution of the country. And I wish all of you all the best. You anyways can get connected with me on any social media platform. I am there on almost all of them, and I try to remain active so that I can answer all of your queries. Feel free to ask me any question over there, and I hope and I wish all the best for your entire this series. There are a few more lectures left in the series. One of my batchmates will be joining, I guess, tomorrow. Prem will be joining tomorrow, and I'm sure you'll get to learn a lot from him and from the rest of the participants. Wishing all of you good luck. Take care, guys. Stay safe and take all precautions because COVID is still here. Okay.
Thank you, sir. This is the closure of this session. You can guys leave the stage, and you can fill the feedback form that is available in WhatsApp groups.